Well, good afternoon. Thank goodness you're here, T Duck. Virtual producer, actually real producer today, and roadie. T Duck is with me. Let's spin that camera around. You probably do want to look at the sea, right? If you're tuned in, but we're going to disturb that for a moment. You'll be able to see it behind us, I think. But Munson tuned in live from San Martino de Porto this afternoon. Just going to switch the camera around so that you can see me and T Duck for a moment, because I want to be able to tell. Oh, there we are. Randy, afternoon. How you doing?
Doing great. Good to see you.
Look at that sky behind us. Isn't that fantastic? Live from the Silver Coast meetup of Expats Portugal, expatsportugal.com. Make sure you're a member over there on the forum and on the site, expatsportugal.com. Sold there, Randy. What you got this afternoon?
This is gin and tonic.
A gin tonico.
From the wonderful Palmera. I believe this was made by Mr. Nelson himself.
Touched by the hand of Nelson. He knows how you like it, right? He does tend to be a bit heavy-handed on the gin, but perhaps no complaints there.
Don't say.
And that's how to order here in Portugal, right? Gin tonico. Just move it all in together as though it were one word. Gin tonico. Good afternoon, everybody. Owen's here. Our pal Owen.
Owen, where are you? Thought you were going to be here today.
Nice to have you here, mate. And Carpe Diem as well. Hello. Boa tarde, pessoas bonitas, beautiful people. Thank you very much, Carpe Diem. How are you? When are you going to join us on the Silver Coast here for a little afternoon out? What time is it, T-Duck? Where are we about?
Almost 3:30.
3:30.
And so how does it sound? Does everyone thinks it sounds okay? It sounds a little loud to me, a little hot. But
top producer question there.
Hard to tell from here.
Yeah, we got some nice buzz in the background as well, haven't we? So that would be great. Well, we'd be grateful to you if you can let us know how it's sounding. We've been mixing up a bit so that... we're not actually looking at the sea, which when we first set it up, we like to be able to see the sea, but we thought you might be able to prefer. We thought you would prefer to see the sea rather than us.
Sounds good.
So we're doing that today. See how that turns out. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and liked what we did last week. And we have a few folks here, don't we, this afternoon, who may chat with us in the way that we did last week. Be good to talk to Phil, I think. Uncle Krusty, some of you know. Be good to chat to Uncle Krusty. Louise is here again. She might not want to talk to us again, though. But it would be great to talk to you for the moment. Oh, sounds good, guys. Thank you very much to Owen for saying that, for reporting back, and to Jennifer. Jennifer, how are you? All sounds good where you are. So any questions about Silver Coast Life? That would be great. T-Duck and I would like to talk a little bit about the kit that makes this possible for the nerds and geeks who are interested in our outside broadcast. Can you talk us through it? And maybe when we segment this from the video later, we can put in the pictures of things, can't we, and links to them.
Sure, we can do that.
But the first effort at this didn't go terribly well, but I think you've done an amazing job in getting this together now. Could you talk us through it, maybe from the microphone first of all? These are the mics we have at home.
Yes.
Yeah? And then they go into the Tascam kit here.
Tascam broadcaster,
which is taking its power from the laptop, which is then taking its power from the bit that you've organized, which makes this all possible. So can you talk us through that bit?
Yeah, it's a C-Tech-I battery power supply. It'll run AC, USB, whatever you need. I think it's 240 watt hours, something like that. And we have a solar panel that keeps it charged up for us, and it runs everything.
Including an on-air light.
Yes, and we have a little, an old iPad here so that we can, play some sound effects.
There you go. We have got the kit.
Yay!
Amazing. Just like that.
So. Yeah. I want to press this button.
Oh my God, that is amazing!
That is the right jingle. That is the right jingle for what you've done here. It is amazing that we can be here. You're sipping a gin and tonic. We're just taking it easy in the Portuguese sunshine, doing a live stream.
We can be anywhere that we can get a cell signal. This is all running off of an iPad.
Hint, everybody. Right, if we're looking for invitations around Portugal, we could do this from your backyard, and we'd love to. Especially, I think Carpe Diem is saying if there are gin and tonics involved. So look at that. Would love to join you, especially with the G&T stuck in the UK currently. I'm so sorry to hear that. Katrina Lilly. When you come back, do join us, Carpe Diem. And Katrina Lilly, Olaf from Coimbra, sound is good. So as well as any questions you might have about life on the Silver Coast, that's what's so lovely. We were saying earlier on that when people come, and we have people who are scouting at the moment, and it's a great opportunity to drop in and talk to real people about their experience of living here in Portugal. And we were able to share and hear things, weren't we, earlier on? It's been a little bit
Things we can't mention.
quite well, yeah, okay, maybe we should leave it at that.
Not everything.
But stuff about banking, that was a hot
let's
topic
not
today,
go
wasn't
there.
it?
That is a hot.
Okay, let's keep off banking at the moment. Yes, grrlenium. Enough said. And yes, some of the pitfalls of house purchasing as well. But you get to talk to people who have actually been through that. Some without scars, some with scars. I think Phil, who might talk to us a little bit later, is largely without scars and enjoying the advice to be Portuguese about it and going with that flow. You can hear a lot of giggling in the background.
I think
Nice
everyone's very
atmosphere.
happy to be
Yeah, they
here.
are. It's not all down to gin and tonics either, is it?
What?
No. Some naturally happy here. Without the mother's ruin. Oh, here we go. First question coming in then. We're considering buying in the Silver Coast area. Are there planned communities along the ocean front? Do you mean by that, Jennifer, planned communities as in intentional communities? Oh, are you going? Can you say hi quickly, Uncle Krusty? We're on a live stream. Is that all right? Christopher, aka Uncle Krusty, is going to join us. Oh, thanks, T-Duck, for musical chairs here. I don't know. Maybe, Jennifer, Uncle Krusty will be able to answer this. We won't keep you too long. We know you've got a schedule.
It's all right.
There's some cans there so you can hear what's going on.
Thank you very much.
This is Uncle Krusty. Christopher.
Aloha. Absolutely.
Aloha. Could you come a little bit closer
Sure.
for us? That'd be great. And
Looks like a tribble.
give it a stroke if you want.
Scotty. Look at that. I've got the tribble.
How are you?
I'm
First of
very
all,
well.
good
How
morning.
are you doing?
Yeah, very good. We're always happy in this environment. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your experience here so far in Portugal?
Absolutely.
Where you've come from?
It's a magical experience. I would actually say that it's very akin to a Douglas Adams novel, in my opinion.
Right.
It truly is. It's a cross between Douglas Adams and Alice in Wonderland. We've met very nice people.
That's not just Portugal. Though. That's what you bring to it.
I think so. Perhaps
This is the restaurant at the end of the universe.
that's
This
true.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we found it. Hallelujah. Sorry, go on.
No worries. We're spending time now in the Algarve, and now at the moment we're in the central part of Portugal on the coast, and we're headed north, and we're going to go all the way up into the Galician area of Spain.
Wow.
And we're still in search of a small farm for a home for ourselves, and really we're enjoying ourselves a lot.
Yes. Well, so enjoying the journey as well as having an eye on that outcome.
Absolutely.
The question here, and you might know something about this, is we're considering buying in the Silver Coast area, says Jennifer, asked Jennifer. Are there planned communities along the ocean front? Have you dipped into any? I think Jennifer's talking about intentional communities. Have you scratched the surface of that in Portugal?
You know what's interesting is there are established planned communities, and there are many up and coming planned communities that we've actually kind of touched into.
Okay.
And I think it's just a matter of putting your feelers out there and connecting with people through social media to find those.
Yes.
And knowing what you're looking for in an intentional community. I think that's extremely important because there are a lot of different philosophies out there, and having in the United States spent some time in intentional communities, I'd say it's super important to know what you're looking for, vet the folks that you're dealing with, and always understand there are interesting dynamics in any community that you're getting involved in.
That's so beautifully put. AKA, you might find yourself in a dysfunctional hellhole.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll say it. Having been.
That's my tofu. No, that's my tofu on the third rack in the refrigerator.
Yes. I've written my name on it in Sharpie. What else do I have to do? Really? Okay.
Exactly.
No, and joking aside, that is a possibility in intentional living. But we also understand why people do want to do that, right? Because
Absolutely.
let's face it, some of the norms of society aren't exactly functional either, are they?
They are not. You know, we're actually on our way to go visit some people that are trying to create an intentional community as we speak. They're having a new moon ceremony this evening. Very beautiful people have very beautiful intentions, and I think we need more of this.
Yes.
You know, it's the way to change the tide of life. I believe.
Yeah, I'm with you. And despite our levity
Yes.
and speaking from experience of some of our community
Absolutely.
lives, previous lives, and it's important to be aware of going in.
Yes.
What can happen, because
Absolutely.
wherever you go, there you are. And funnily enough, my experience of intentional community is like, you leave home and you start your adult life and you join an intentional community and your family is suddenly there.
Yes.
The one you
absolutely.
thought you left behind.
Absolutely.
Dad's there, mum's there, the brother you did like, the sister you didn't like, and all those people who you thought you'd kind of extinguished from your life are there.
Yes. Absolutely.
With their tofu and Sharpie pens.
And yet I think it's more enjoyable than being a hermit in a cave, more or less. I
Absolutely.
mean, maybe not for everyone, but for me it is.
Yeah,
I like
no,
community.
yeah, and that is, I suppose, our long-term intention, isn't it? To rediscover the art of living peacefully in community,
Absolutely.
having taken a little bit of a detour as human beings, possibly from that.
And then, in a funny way, if we can manage that, I think we could maybe manage that worldwide.
Yeah. So shout out to despite the humour and the rich theme of comedy that is available in community life, shout out to all the people who are giving it a go. Right, the brave souls who are putting it out there and saying, let's give this a go.
I have a lot of respect for them, and I highly recommend people dive into it and see what they find.
And we live in an age, don't we, where there are so many resources available for doing that.
Absolutely.
We've come a long way since Scott Peck. Nothing wrong with Scott Peck,
No.
The Road Less Travelled, and the community building principles that he espoused and was endeavouring to get into. There are so many, what would they be called? Methodologies, interventions, ways of being, ways of looking at this now.
Absolutely.
That we can delight in. Do you have any favourites?
I've become very eclectic in my old age.
Really?
Yes, I call myself a redneck yogi. In a
well,
way,
that's quite eclectic.
My honest opinion is if you can be as inclusive as possible,
Yeah.
and bring as many people into a dynamic,
Yes.
it's very important, because oftentimes you're speaking to the choir, and the choir is great.
Yeah.
But if you want the world to be a different place, you have to reach out to all different kinds of people,
Yeah.
and communicate to them in the way that they communicate.
Yes. So true. I mean, that's a mic drop moment. You could probably go there, but I don't want you to just yet.
No.
Well said. So to come back to your question, planned communities, I think that's in the air, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Drop me a line, Jennifer, because I do know of a project where, and the reason I'm saying drop me a line is because I'm so embarrassed I've forgotten the name of the project. But there is something planned. Actually, a lot of roads lead to the Algarve for these sorts of things, but the people concerned in this particular one I'm thinking of might consider the Silver Coast. So let's be in touch about that. There is a concentration of community living in the Algarve, isn't there?
Absolutely, there
Yeah.
very, very, very much is, especially around Al Jazur.
Yes.
There are a lot of different smaller intentional communities there.
Yeah.
We've spent 3 months there and met a lot of great people. We're moving on for of various reasons.
Yes.
But, yeah, and you'll find them all over Portugal. It's funny, what I've noticed is that it's almost like Portugal is calling people of this kind of ilk
Yes.
in some way, shape, or form. It has for a long time, I think.
I think you're right. Yes.
But at the moment, it seems to be calling a great deal of people that are looking for community, looking to create community,
Yes.
and looking to change the world in their own way.
Oh, that's so beautiful. On a serious note, I know you've got to go. Maybe keep you for a
No
couple more
worries.
minutes if that's all right. But
Absolutely.
one of the issues we talked about after your time in the Algarve is this serious issue of water, and that is an issue for Portugal.
It is.
How do you see that? What can we do?
It's a big question. I think that on a personal level, yes, we can conserve, but it's also a way that we look at the produce we buy, how that's produced, and how we can vote with our dollars in that way. Also realize that as we become part of the community as expats, that we can also speak to our neighbors and speak to the expat community and feel like we have a voice.
Yeah.
And be able to speak out about these issues and create perhaps organizations or tag in to communicate into organizations that already exist and support them in ways of learning how to do things like permaculture and maybe changing agriculture in general in
Yeah.
Portugal. Not that they don't do agricultural well, because they have traditionally for years.
For sure.
Absolutely. But there are things that we can do. I don't think it's necessarily all should be put on the shoulders of the consumer or the average person.
There's a pattern here, isn't there?
There is a pattern here, and you know, it's not only in Portugal. It's a worldwide pattern, unfortunately, that I've seen.
Which I suppose connects us to the whole community idea, doesn't it? Is if people can come together without conflict and with common cause and make the right sort of sounds that reverberate through the universe, starting with the country and the planet.
Yes,
that's possibly the way, isn't it, to draw to us the types of conservation, restoration that will make things a little bit more sustainable.
I really believe that. You know, I've had a lot of experience as an environmental activist and a conservationist in the United States, and I've come to believe that the biggest impact that we can have is how we change our own lives and how we change the lives of others around us. And that in its own way, and I'm not being a Pollyanna about it, I truly believe that it can create a subtle wave across a pond of the world to really make change.
Beautiful. So keep on keeping on. Anyone
Absolutely.
who resonates with that message, and I think quite a few people here do, yeah, your own view on this is important, and how you share that with other people, and then coming together with people who have the same wavelength for the common good. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yes. On that note, enjoy the rest of your journey, and thank you so much for popping in.
Thanks for having me.
I want to hug you, but that's probably
It's all right. We can make that happen.
There he is, Uncle Krusty. Christopher, thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Aloha, folks.
Yeah, thank
you for the opportunity.
It's always a pleasure to see you. Come and see
Take
us
care.
when you loop back round.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. There he goes, Uncle Krusty there. Change lives or improve. Change lives or improve. Thank you. Yeah, I may have chosen my words. Yeah, I suppose if we see it as transformation and evolution, Angel Tobbit, that might be a little more helpful than this constant change agenda. It's a lot of that, isn't there? Change. We want change. Change.
Change for a 10 or a 20. I might be able to help you out there.
Yes, which could bring us on to those fantastic Buddhist jokes, couldn't it? Make me one with everything, to the hot dog seller. Why haven't you given me any change? True change comes from within. Anyway.
A comment here from Patrick Carl Koenig.
Oh, yes. Can we? Yes, I guess we will answer any questions that come our way.
I'll answer that one.
Okay, where are we? That one there. Marijuana
Yes.
is legal in Portugal then. He's oh, that was a little bit of a stereotypical comment, I think, about our Uncle Krusty there.
Well, you know, when you're at a concert, you look for the guy with the ponytail or the dreadlocks. That's what I've learned.
Hey, bro. Okay. Dysfunctional hellhole. Lol. Yeah, that's worst case scenario. I hope you took our comments in the spirit in which they were meant in terms of levity and the holistic view of being in community. It is, you're doing something new, and it can be quite challenging and tough, and that's why people don't want to live in big groups. I think perhaps the correct word is intentional. Sorry, I missed quite a few of these earlier on in my chat with Uncle Krusty. So yeah, perhaps the correct word is intentional, more like condo developments with activities, restaurants. Okay, it's coming. Jennifer, I don't know of anything specific. I am encouraging people to come to this part of the world to consider such things. I think it will happen in time. There is an appetite for it, for sure. Thank you, Owen, for this. Portugal, aka the new Garden of Eden. Yes, for sure. And when you see that sky behind us there, and we will give you some more long shots and some background music so you can enjoy the view without all this chatter from some time as well. What's this? Live the life there, Carl, says Patrick. I'll be toasting our glasses one day soon. Prost! Yes, Patrick, Carl.
Saud.
Koenigs, Saud, Prost. Yes, indeed. What's this that is being said by Carpe Diem? Don't forget, I'm having a new super insulated wood frame build done. Kiss there at the end, and Allah just popped in. Hello, lol. This is so much easier, isn't it, for people tuned in from the United States? And we will give you a view of the sea in just a moment. Stick around a couple of minutes. We'll put the music back on, and so you can see this lovely scene behind us properly, fully. Lol, we'll have to go back and hear the entire conversation. Why? Why?
I think we should maybe delete this.
What do you think? She's definitely going to go back and listen now. You said that. Sorry, I haven't been on for a couple of months. Have I missed anything? No, Not much.
I don't think so.
No, nothing at all. It's almost $5 a gallon here in Florida. USA.
Well,
for gas.
$5 a gallon. Can you send some over? A few barrels, even. That would be a great help. It's about double that here.
I was going to say that's really dangerous, but that is actually how gasoline gets moved around in barrels, isn't it?
I think they measured in barrels, but they send it in tankers, which is even more dangerous.
It is really, isn't it? Sooner we can cure ourselves of that, the better. We can't do rain harvesting here in Florida because the mosquitoes are so bad. Can't you put something in the water like DDT? It's no, only joking.
I use gin.
Put gin in the water, and then if you're killing mosquitoes, and you have a sip of the rain barrel every time you go past at T Duck's house. It's a real health concern. Okay, yeah. You'll give Carl some likes or hearts. Oh, bless you, Ree. And T Duck with me, of course, here. Yeah, to cold showers. Does that change your mind at all? From T Duck there, worrying about the shrinkage. Hugs to Owen. It's a real issue. Hugs to Owen from Ree and John Drury. Thinking about Alcobaça, seems close to Nazaré and not too far from Lisbon. Yeah, it's a great location, no question. Still trying to get to the country this year, maybe in November. Yeah, you won't go too far wrong. Shrinkage comments incoming. Yeah, you won't go too far wrong in Alcobaça. We.
Oh, no.
Shrinkage. We have a couple of men joining us now.
It's not really a problem.
Joining. Who's there today? Oh, lots. How many people? We must have had above 20 again, 20 to 30 folks.
I would say there's at one time there was probably about 30.
It's officially over, but people are hanging out, aren't they? For sure. Apart from us with work to do here.
Yeah, there's still at least 15, 20 here.
Yep. And Ahmed Iqbal. Hola, huge fan from Minnesota. Hi, Ahmed. Thank you for being a huge fan. USA, and hope to get the D7 process going later this year. One of 50 watching at the moment. That's superb. Thank you so much.
50 watching.
Yes. And if we, you know how in publishing,
Wow.
if for every newspaper sold, they figure that 5 people read it. Or that's what they used to do to beef up the figures for advertising purposes. Let's say these are each households with 7 people in. That makes 350 people watching approximately at the moment.
Is that new math?
See what I did there?
I counted
New math.
709.
Yes, I was going on the conservative side.
Well, we can
there.
see most of them.
Yes.
Yeah, put your pants back on.
Yeah, shrinkage. Every Tuesday morning, we meet at 10:30 for a wild swim. Great health benefits. Come along. You've been invited. Shrinkage or no shrinkage, you are invited, T-Duck. Carl, so glad I can see you at a decent hour. I was like, so glad I can see you in a decent state. Trying to get on at 4 a.m. is hard. Yes, it is. Trying to get it on at 4 a.m. is hard. So
for a swim.
So hit the like button, people. Okay, I think we need to calm down a bit after all that talk of shrinkage and gin and tonic.
It melted my ice.
We've melted his ice. It's official. And so we're going to go back to the other camera now and put on the mood music, should you require it, wherever you are in the world. And we'll be back. We'll talk to someone else in just a little while. And there's your lovely view. There's your lovely view of San Martino de Porto Bay. Unique. And we'll leave a little bit of atmosphere in the background as well. And we'll be back in a little while with more. So just enjoy that view for the time being, won't you? Thank you, T-Duck.
Quack.
Okay, yes. In some ways, sorry to disturb your viewing there, but we're going to spin the camera around now because we have our next guest with us this afternoon, who will be Dave, who's recently here. And I think enjoying these meetups, Dave, so far?
Very much. It's great to, we're glad to be in Portugal, but one of the major challenges is how do you meet people?
Yeah.
How do you find like-minded spirits, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this has been great.
Excellent.
Looking forward to
Excellent.
every Wednesday.
So where are you from and where did you end up here?
Originally, we came here from Washington, D.C. I retired from the federal government in the United States after 36 years.
Wow.
But who's counting?
Yes.
My wife Amy and I had known for a long time I was going to do something like this. I've known probably for 30 years that I was going to retire abroad. That's just how I'm built.
Wow.
I would have gotten here sooner, but I had elderly parents, sick parents.
Yeah.
Had to sort of wait. It wasn't originally Portugal. It was actually looked at other places, but the more I looked into things, the better Portugal looked as offering a total package.
Yep.
It checked all the boxes for me and my wife.
Yes.
I was posted overseas by the Treasury Department. I was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia during COVID and the shutdown.
Were you?
Yes. And there wasn't much to do. So I was doing a lot of online research.
Yes.
And a colleague I work with had talked about Spain and Portugal, and I started doing some research, and I had a moment I said, wow, this might be a thing to investigate further.
Where had it been before that? France maybe?
If I am honest, my favorite place on the planet is Australasia. I love Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand is my slice of heaven.
Yeah.
Far away, very expensive, and they don't want people my age, to be honest.
Okay, yep.
So Portugal made it easy. Portugal had everything we wanted. We had been here once a long time ago, liked it. It was kind of on the back burner, and then all of a sudden, with COVID and a bunch of other things, it was elevated to the front burner. So
Isn't that
more
funny?
research,
You're
and
not
we found you
alone.
guys.
You're
What's
not alone with that.
No.
Because I think Portugal has crept up on a lot of people.
Yes.
With that
yes,
same urge that you had.
Yes.
Like, this isn't my destiny to stay here in my native country.
Correct.
Possibly the United States. I will go somewhere one day. Portugal, not necessarily on the A list, but then suddenly, for lots of people now, it is.
Right.
For this perfect storm of circumstances.
So my wife was back in the United States for a wedding, and people now know that we did this. I didn't go, but she said when she was there, everyone was coming up to her and saying, "How did you guys do this?"
Yes.
So there is buzz about Portugal. No
Isn't
question.
that amazing?
Yeah.
And here you are right in the middle
Yeah.
of part of that buzz.
Very pleased to be here. Love
Yeah.
it.
And your first landing place here?
First landing place was is Alcobaça.
That's interesting because we have had John Drury on talking to us earlier on, asking about Alcobaça. So for his benefit, as well as many other people, what's so great about Alcobaça?
Well,
why there?
For us, what we were looking for is that we knew Portugal was going to be different, and there would be adjustments that have to be made. But given our age and everything else, I was trying to look for places that would sort of ease the transition.
Okay.
And so I was looking at Alcobaça and Caldas, and we used a realtor. We got lucky. She was a great realtor, and she found us a fabulous T2 right in the center of town, a 2-minute walk from the monastery, a 2-minute walk to everything. And
how did you find this person?
Actually on Facebook.
Okay. Wow.
And I asked for help, and she jumped on us very quickly. And she said, "I'll get you something."
Really?
And in 2 weeks, she got us something.
Dave, can I just Guido? Do you mind being on the live stream just to say hello to Annie?
I'm on the live stream.
I think this is Guido who's on a scouting trip at the moment and just popping in.
Scouting.
And Annie is going to be so delighted, I think, to see you.
Hi Annie. Hi everybody else.
Fantastic.
Kisses to Annie.
Have you had a good time?
I had a great time.
It's
Thank
been
you.
so good to meet you in
Nice
person.
meeting you too,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. All the best to you.
Thank you very much.
Where are you off to
Appreciate
next in Portugal?
it. Porto.
Porto next. Porto
Yeah.
for a week.
And then probably coming back down here again.
Please do.
So you might see me in 2 weeks or so.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. Great to
Sounds
meet
good.
you. All the best on your journey.
Thank you very
Ciao,
much.
ciao.
Appreciate
Ciao,
it.
ciao.
Bye, everybody.
So speaking of scouting trips,
Yes.
we didn't
You're
do
gonna
one.
go that way, aren't you?
Well, yes, but we didn't do one. We didn't have time to do one because of COVID.
Yeah.
So the lawyer we are using, she's been on your program quite a lot, we use Gilda.
Yep.
Gilda said, "Okay, don't do a scouting trip. Come over here,
Yes.
get a rental,
Yeah.
base yourself somewhere, and then scout."
Yes.
And so that's what we're doing.
And it's worked, right?
Worked very well. We've scouted the south a little bit, and we have a car hire reserved for next week, and we're
Yeah.
going to start heading north, see the north of Portugal.
Let's
So-
see if we can help Dave and Amy in these next few weeks, because you followed Gilda's advice.
See.
Sensible people do. Oh, update, by the way, from Gilda. She gave me a call this morning. She sent a rocket of an email to Millennium BCP. I don't know if you heard, Dave, that just
Yes.
recently, you can't open a bank account if you're a foreigner.
Yeah.
To become a resident, you need a bank account. They created a terrible catch-22 for
Right.
themselves, and it was an
Right.
internal corporate policy of Millennium BCP, I have to say, who seemed quite unbothered about it until I think Gilda sent them an email that made their ears burn.
Quite an uproar on Facebook about this. It
Of
was very
course,
sudden,
it
no
was
worry,
ridiculous.
no warning.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So-
Anti-enterprise, anti-common sense, basically.
Yeah.
Now it's been sorted out. Millennium have done a U-turn, and for D7s and D3s, it's possible to open a bank account again.
That's
and
good to hear.
Gilda is paving the way with that. So you followed her advice,
Yes.
and you got here rather than thinking too much, overthinking it possibly elsewhere. Coming here, based in Alcobaça, real estate agent you found on Facebook, which I think is great.
Yes.
And now you do your scouting trip.
Right. That was Gilda's advice. So we had originally rented a car. We looked southern Silver Coast. We started Lourinhã, went up to Foz do Aurélio, and here I'm liking São Martinho de Porto a lot.
Mm.
It's just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So next week we will start with Figueira da Foz, and we're probably going to go as far north as Viana do Castelo.
Very good.
We
Are
will
you going to go see Vitor at Ponte Lima?
Possibly.
Be
Guess-
careful.
yeah.
Be careful, because you might not come back
Well,
from there. Lots of people go
Right,
see Vitor,
right.
and that's it.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot to see. we want to buy something at some point, but at this point, I think it's not well advised to be in a rush. There's no
No, we were
reason.
talking about this earlier on, weren't we?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we might be reaching the height of the market.
We might be.
Yeah.
You don't want to buy in a declining market, but if the prices come down a little bit, then we get more house for the move.
Could happen. It could happen, couldn't it? So let's see. People are aware now that you are going on a scouting trip. If you've got any tips for Dave and Amy, who are heading up north from this central part of Portugal, pretty much the Silver Coast here, let's see if you've got things to share. Pine trees. They are pine trees, Dave. I think that we can confirm behind us. They are. I think they are the Pinheiro Manso, which you can get a pine kernel from. It's a lot of hard work.
I could look at this view all day long. I love the bay.
We are oriented the wrong way.
Yeah.
Although if you look at yourself in the screen there, you'll see the bay behind you. It is a lovely place.
It is.
Susie's here again, waking up, awake again to catch the last bit of the meetup high. It was so lovely to see you here, Suze. And maybe you'll be with us again one day over here. Who knows? Hello from Marta Woodhead. And shout out from Owen to you, Suze. Is this the wee break after the cold shower? Oh, not wee break as in Scottish, as in the wee break. Yes, that does tend to happen, doesn't it? But no, it's not, Patrick. But thank you for asking. Kawaii Pandas, lovely calming music with a wonderful view. Yes, that's all thanks to T-Duck. Last time I was there, they were doing a bit of a refurb on the big house behind you. Is that going to be a hotel now? We can see this, Dave, can't we?
Yes.
It's clearly recently refurbished. It doesn't look like a hotel. It just looks like a beautiful building where people enjoy living with this fantastic view.
Maybe a boutique hotel. I don't know.
How would you describe that architecture? Oh, I'll let everyone see this. T-Duck's on the camera now, so we can have a look at what we're talking about. How would you describe the architecture up there? It's like a boat, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
Bit Rennie McIntosh.
Yeah.
Going on in there.
Yeah.
And some tile work.
Certainly some of that influence.
Yeah, and an incredible roof. I mean, would you want to work on that roof? It's pretty high up there.
In my younger days, maybe not now.
Not now. Thank you, T-Duck, for that. So it is refurb, to answer your question. Carpe diem. Oh, it's getting a bit rowdy here, isn't it? Should we worry?
No,
I
think they're doing all right.
Expats causing trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, last time I was there then. So, okay, your Carpe Diem. It's not a hotel. I don't think it is a very nice spot, though. What's this? Hiding the booze in a bottle, are we, Carl? No, that is... Patrick, you are very naughty. That is cold, fizzy water there. I think we missed one or two comments. Yes, I can get that verified, analysed. I'm not going to ask T-Duck because he's going to... What's happening now? Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah, nice top up there. Brilliant. What's this? Coral Joy. Hello from New Mexico, USA. Love this format. So nice to join you. You are the format, Dave, telling us about your experiences here. I think, how many marks out of 10 so far for your Portuguese experience?
For me, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. I'm not somebody who will give a perfect score to anything.
Yeah, so that's high praise then.
Yeah, it's met all expectations. It was the right thing to do. Certainly, if you're thinking about it, I would say Portugal wouldn't be the only place, but it should be in the mix. It's one of the places that you should really consider. If you haven't been here, come and take a look.
Well said.
Come on in, the water's fine.
Said.
The water's fine.
Nicely put. Hi, Dave, from Ree, saying hello to you.
And to you.
Shush, the feds are in. What? Oh, I see. Federal government.
That's me.
The feds are here.
36 years.
36. Hello from Ireland. Mike Shaw saying hello. Hello. Hi, Mike. How are you? And John Drury, another federal worker here in the DC area. Also, what is it about federal workers from DC interested in Alcobaça? That's bizarre.
The Alcobaça part, I can't explain. Wanting to get out of DC, I can't explain. It has not been a very hospitable place the last few years.
Oh my goodness. Okay, glad to see someone else is doing what I'm thinking of doing.
Yes,
says John to you.
Go for it. Go for it.
Hiding the booze. No, I am not. Holy cow! What a catch-22. Yeah, ridiculous with Millennium. And I'm having the overthinking it problem. So what advice to Ree then? You know, she's a paralysis by analysis, possibly.
My advice to people is you should be able to articulate to yourself and to other people why you're doing this. If somebody asks, why are you moving overseas? rather than just shrugging, you should be
I don't
able
know.
to say,
Yeah.
no, I need, you need to, there are lots of reasons to do it and they're all valid, but I mean, you should be able to say to people, this is why I want to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it on a whim. I wouldn't do it spur of the moment. I think you really need to think about it. There's stuff, there's stuff you got to think about. There's stuff you got to plan for. It really is different from the United States, but in a good way, I would argue. But, you have to be able to say, I'm ready to make changes. I'm ready to get outside the box a little bit. But if you are like that and can do it, go for it.
Dave,
Definitely.
you are fast becoming live on air now, our agony uncle. Challenging people's preconceptions and helping them out. Here's another one. Can you reassure this 70-year-old retired Canadian girl that being single should not stop me?
Being single should not stop you. I've met lots of single people, male and female, from all over the world. There are places in the world where it would be harder to do. Portugal is great. The culture is great. Everything is great. I've because of my work and everything else, I've traveled a fair amount. I've been to about 50 countries. Portugal is great. The European Union is great. Europe is easy. The Middle East is hard. Believe me.
Okay, so you've
Try
experienced
Saudi Arabia and other places, and you'll say, "Wow, this is
Okay, Jocelyn, there you go.
not so bad here."
And funnily enough, we've got Louise here. Jocelyn, you may be familiar with Expat Solo 50 Plus, or Solo Plus Expat 50. You know the combination. It's
Right.
50 plus, it's
Right.
Solo, and it's Expat. And
Right.
Louise is here. She was talking to us last week.
Seen lots of people like that.
Yeah, and
do
and
not
Cindy
let
B.
age deter you.
Is
Do
Cindy
not.
B still here? Because I was hoping to talk to Cindy B. She might have gone. She may have had to walk a dog. So, but Cindy B is a solo here,
Yes.
loving it, and talks about it. She hosts a session, a Zoom session for people who are concerned.
Yes.
Hook up with Louise and Cindy B. Please do that, Jocelyn. And the advice, or not advice, we don't really give advice. We don't tell people what to do, but the water, as you said before, the water's looking pretty good for
Right.
solos.
There's whatever your situation, if you get over here, you will find there is support. There are people, there are expat groups, there are Facebook groups, there are all sorts of entities that would provide support. You would not be alone unless you wanted to be.
Yes, now there's a point, because if you do want to be, you can get quite a
Correct.
nice anonymous life here
Correct.
as well, can't you?
Correct.
Yeah, very good point.
Correct.
We arrive in Portugal on the 6th of August, says Rod. Renting and looking, we've just retired and moving over from the UK. Fortunately, my wife has.
Great.
Fortunately, yes, that's great for you. The Irish passport coming up trumps for you there. Hi from Atlanta, Georgia there. Laurie, good afternoon. Well, good morning to you possibly, and a very good afternoon from us from Portugal here. Hi, my first step was Ponte Lima, says Suze. Loved it. Goal was Caldas de Rainha. Love staying in the market square, but too big for me. Then yo-yoed between San Martino de Porto and Alcobaça.
Right.
Milder temperatures kept me in the area. So the temperature thing.
So the thing that might surprise some people about Portugal is just for a country its size, the sheer geographic diversity. If you want seacoast, you can have seacoast. If you want inland and you want mountains, you can have inland.
Yeah.
If you want warm, you can get away from the water and it's warmer. If you need cooler, you can be close to the water and it's cooler.
Yes.
Sort of everything in between. You find your niche, as we say in America, you find your slice of heaven. It's here somewhere.
Sweet spots abound.
You got to
don't
find.
they?
You just got to look for it. That's all.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dave. Thank you for stepping into this role. You're doing it brilliantly.
Thanks so much.
Another serious question for you. What does your wife worry about being alone in a foreign country if something happens to you? That is a bit serious, isn't it? That frightens me, says Ree, I guess projecting onto you. No, she's nodding her. No, not at all.
No, no.
High five, Amy.
So
As long as
Right.
he's got life insurance, she's fine with that. There's a lot of nods of approval going around the room here.
right. So in our particular case, we're from Washington D.C. We have a daughter in Washington D.C. She can fly here in 6 hours. It's not that far.
Yeah.
She could fly home in 6 hours. She just did that last week for a wedding. There,
Well, I'm
You
thinking
can-
you've obviously talked about this, haven't you? You've
Yes.
got a robust attitude
Sure,
towards it. So
sure,
is that the
sure,
thing to do? Is,
sure.
to prepare and talk?
you have to prepare. You have to talk. You have to come here with a certain degree of flexibility.
Yeah.
You have to come here with the idea. The idea is not to replicate or duplicate what we had back in the United States.
Yeah.
It's going to be different. Okay, embrace the difference. quite frankly, if you're not someone who can do that,
Hell yeah.
maybe rethink this.
Okay, I'm sorry you're going up north because we could have come to Portugal with Dave hour
Yeah.
every Wednesday, couldn't we? With
Well,
advice
we'll
like
be back
this?
in a few weeks.
Good. Okay, looking forward to that already. John, what he said. Amen to getting out of the DC area.
Yeah.
John, okay.
It's-
Dave is an inspiration, says
Well, thank you.
Mac007. Hello, how are you? He clearly made a right move.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
For us,
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, and yeah, nicely put for you. Yeah. Just got my D7 and was dreading the thought of trying to get a CEF appointment. However,
No,
I didn't
don't,
realize.
don't.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that your CEF appointment is already made for you. And it is on a URL link in very small print on the front of your visa. Nobody
Yes.
told me. Well done, Mike.
Yes.
Thanks for telling
Yes.
everybody else. Louise, mentioning Louise here, put us onto house sitting. We've met such lovely people and it allowed us to travel on a budget. Shout out to Louise over here with us this morning. Sorry, I'm used to saying this morning, forgive me. Just love the afternoon shows, says Chris. Hello, Chris. And on his usual channel here, Capricorn 12, come with an open mind. Remember, things don't happen quickly in Portugal. Best
Correct.
advice I was given.
Correct.
Loving Portugal more and more every day.
Yes.
Same for you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Absolutely.
The trend continues. Hello from London, UK, from Manuel Soldado, London, UK. I am a Portuguese living here in London. Well, hello to you. Lots of love to my home city there. And thanks, Dave, from Ree, for that straightforward answer that
Thank
you get. I get the feeling you're a pretty straightforward kind of guy, Dave.
More
Say
or
it
less,
like it
yeah.
is. I miss meeting up with Gumpers, says Suze. The highlight of the month in Portugal is meeting in person some of the finest people. How lovely, Suze, that you should say that. Yeah, so that brings us full circle to where you jumped in here. The meetup thing works for you?
Very much so.
And so people,
Thanks for doing it.
Would you recommend that people maybe schedule it in if they're scouting?
Yes. To the extent that you can get out and meet other like-minded kindred spirits, like-minded souls.
Yeah.
They are here.
Yes.
They're scattered around, and something like this makes it easier. There are lots of ways to do it, and for us, we don't live far away, so it's not a big deal to
Good to know.
hop on the bus and get here.
So we have a link. Just drop me a line. You can see my email address there for the Expats Portugal meetup on the Silver Coast. There's also one in Portimão now in the Algarve once a month as well. So get in touch with me if you need the itinerary, location, and so on for those. And maybe we'll have one in the north. If you fall in love with the north, you might become the host of the northern.
Keeping an open mind. See what it's like up there.
Dave, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Enjoy the rest of your trip around, your scouting. Amy, thank you very much as well for your wonderful comments
Thank you.
from the side there. Thanks so much. So we'll return to the camera in the bay now, which people are loving as much as the content, I think, here this afternoon. There we go. And there you go, that beautiful view and a bit of music to go with it, which we'll play out with today.
Thanks.